All right, check in. Dude, today was rough. It was rough. You know, between being fucked up from earlier today, and I posted that shit, to the news I got, to how sad I felt about, you know, the obvious. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be at work. And so I was the first one there and the last one to leave. 3 car deals. You know, they're splits, but 2 of them I did. One of them was done for me, and a street purchase. So overall, I had a good day today. You know, productive. Didn't want to be there. Reached out to somebody in recovery. Didn't want to be there. It was good to talk to somebody to give me perspective over what I was going through. And, you know, that pit in my stomach and all of that stuff, sure. But, you know, there's nothing I can really do about this situation, about either situation. And so, do I feel better? I feel like I'm going through it, but I don't feel like I did when I walked into the doors. You know, my coworkers could tell. They knew something was up with me. Oh yeah, cigarette moment. Which, I don't plan on buying another pack. That was just a rough night. It was a rough night. I didn't get fucking much sleep, you know? What can I say? And the morning was even rougher, you know? But I don't feel hate in my heart. I don't feel resentment. At the end of the day, it's really out of my control. And I still believe that everything happens exactly the way my higher power intended it to. And see, what I mean by that is, like, people are going to do shit, and that's not my higher power, but the experiences I go through, I'm experiencing. You know, if I believe that everything has already happened, it's all predetermined, that's one thing. But if I believe that all this shit that's happening is just, it's happening, and my higher power has everything that's out of my control, everything to do with that, sure, people are going to make bad decisions, but I feel like my higher power, there's something with that. And so how I handle this situation moving forward is going to be crucial for me. Because I know that I can fucking, when I'm upset, like if I feel like I've been wronged, and I don't think I've been wronged. You know, I felt wronged earlier this morning. I did feel wronged. And there was some wrong. You know, the way I was talked to and what happened on that phone call was pretty fucked up. But, you know, I could either fucking keep that and be angry about it, or I can use this as an opportunity. I get to choose those 2 options there, and I'm gonna work through this shit the best way I know how to work through it. Not sharing about it, reaching out to people who can help me get through it, and finding a positive way to get through it as well. Like finding some positivity in it. Like, I didn't find anything positive about this today. But I did think, you know, I went through, like, there was a time that I thought my ex was cheating on me. And I remember saying, like, this is the worst shit fucking ever. Like, I'm going through this again, you know? I'm going through somebody getting loaded and fucking around on me again. And I remembered that today. You know, and this isn't somebody fucking around on me, you know? But it's felt so similar, you know, like I thought there was something, and, well, you know, obviously there's not. And so, how could there be, you know? And so, I thought to myself, because I felt today like, damn, that shit was fucking cold, right? Not really. People do what they do. And it's not even directed towards me. It wasn't like, fuck him, I'm gonna go fucking do this. You know, so I don't need to take it personally. Definitely don't need to be assuming that shit. And really all I need to do is ask myself, on a scale of like worst shits ever, it's not even on that map. It's not. Like, there are people dealing with some shit right now. Like, somebody just died. It's not even number 2. Somebody just died. You know, their daughter's not going to see them. That goes above all of this, and that my self-centeredness is making this more important than what the reality of it all is. Like, there are people right now where their kids are in the hospital. That's above this. There are people right now that you know, they're homeless. That's above this. You know, there are people right now that you know, they're in some kind of fucking war zone, and they're fucking being, you know, the insurgents are coming in, and they're like, all of these people would in a heartbeat snap their fingers to have my experience that I experienced. They would trade places to have this, because I get to go home, I get to see my kids, I get to work through the, you know, like I'm clean today, you know, like there's so many, like, it was hard for me to find gratitude today, and I went through gratitudes right before I walked through the door, and I'm really grateful I tried that. I did that approach, because if I would have let this stay in my head and I wouldn't have done anything about it, right now I'd feel worse than I felt earlier today, and I wouldn't have been able to function at work. Today I had to put all of my bullshit aside. I had to put all the stresses aside, and trust me, I didn't. I had to do the best I possibly could. And I had to think, well, fuck, man, there were times in my past that I went in there after a weekend and I just want to fucking die. Like, I didn't want to be alive. And this isn't one of those. Like, I don't feel like that. I wasn't sweating, I wasn't paranoid, and I wasn't coming in there feeling all shitty. And I remember that. I remember not too long ago, I felt that way. You know? And I don't feel like harming myself today. You know, I'm not even thinking about it. And so, you know, I'm able to get through this positively. I'm able to look at this as perspective. I'm able to, really, in my heart, I forgive anybody that inadvertently or indirectly were to harm me. You're forgiven. I forgive you. You know, am I going to forget this situation? No, that's not what it's about. Like, if I can find gratitude in this, if I can find a way to make this, you know, more of, like, at least my part, right? Where I'm feeling feelings. If I can find a way to be like, okay, this happened, I accept it. I accept it much more right now than I did earlier. And, you know, a couple car deals didn't fix this, but it sure helped. You know, it really did help. To be able to be the person I was at work today and still push, it did help. A lot of prayer today, a lot of talking today, and a lot of feelings. You know, and I talked to somebody that, you know, has some clean time under their belt. Don't know them, but they, you know, like, somehow we connected, and they gave me really good advice, you know, about feeling my feelings. And there's no principles that are going to take place of those. And I don't have to feel bad because I'm human, you know. And so, all in all, it's gonna feel shitty. I already know when I get home I'm gonna feel shitty. You know, I know when I get home I'm gonna feel, you know, it's gonna feel like an open wound still. But this is how I'm gonna turn that wound into a scar, and then I'm just gonna remember the scar. You know, maybe not make the same mistakes I made, because there were clearly some mistakes made. You know, maybe I was, you know, whatever. You know, like, there were clearly some things that I should have avoided, and I wouldn't have to feel like this. But I did get to feel good for a time being, and I do appreciate the experience I had. And no matter what the outcome, I don't have to sit here and be like, man, that shit went down in flames. It's because it really didn't. We all make decisions, and, you know, we all have to, you know, we all have a part in those. I have a part in bad decisions I made and all that. So, if anything, tomorrow it'll get a little better. The next day it'll get a little bit better, and then, you know, in a couple months, I won't even think about it. You know, like, I'll forget. I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot about that be at home wallowing. The best advice that was given to me today is we show up, we suit up, we boot up, we put on that smile, we go to work. You know, he doesn't know he knows what I do. He said, you know, you sell a couple cars, you show up, you don't get loaded, and you be there. And that's what I did today. I grinded today. You know, I pulled somebody out of our service department and made a deal out of it today. When I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to fucking talk to nobody today. But I didn't want to be at home by myself either. So I didn't know what to do. And I felt lost. Even though I knew what to do. I just didn't want to do it. It's like going to the gym when you don't want to go. You know? And so I'll have my ups and downs throughout the week. I will, you know. And this person may or may not reach out to me, and that's one of those serenity prayer things, you know, like I can't, you know, like grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, have the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? So, you know, all I can do is take my will in my life and turn it over to my higher power. In these situations that are out of my control, I did that today. Hey, can you help me with this? It's out of my control. I don't want to feel like this anymore, but I know I have to. And that was advice given to me by this person. Feel your feelings. You know, so I felt them today. And I'm still feeling them right now. But I feel much better today after work than I did when I went in. And I don't feel like I did nothing at work but just stare at a screen. And I kind of wanted to do that. You know, I had two crazy things happen to me between last night and today. And more crazier than I want to experience. And guess what? I'm not planning on getting loaded. I don't have the desire to use right now. And guess what? I reached out to somebody in recovery. You know, and it was somebody that had some time under their belt, that they could, they understood me, you know, they shared with me a similar experience that they were able to get through, you know, and so all in all, it's, you know, like I just, you know, I just want to, I needed to express this because this expression is part of this journey of, you know, my 12 months, because I'm putting my 12 months on here and how I'm going through it, you know. I talked to my ex-wife today, gave me some advice in this situation too, you know. Least likely candidate, you know, like, but some perspective, you know, like better perspective, and no hatred at all, more compassion than anything. And so, like, I have good people around me, you know, I do. I'm not alone. And I wrote today, I journaled, and I journaled. My journaling was awesome because it was like I was building myself up, you know, and the last thing I wanted to have is hate in my heart, and the last thing I wanted to have was resentment built from hate and from anger. And really, those are just secondary emotions to what I was really feeling, which was sad. You know, I was feeling sad. I was sad for, you know, this family. I was sad for the situation. I was sad for people that knew this person. And I was also conflicted and sad. I felt like, you know, like I wasn't shit. But what I didn't feel was not worth it. I know I'm worth it. I know I'm worth it. I know my worth. You know, and it's only going to get better. And I'm only going to get better. And I'm only going to get stronger. And I'm going to continue to love people how I love people. I'm going to continue to have compassion. And I'm going to continue to forgive. And I'm going to continue to do everything I can to not have shame for my actions. You know? You know, I know my part in this whole situation. And I understand that, you know, and if this person is watching this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I expressed the way I did. And I'm sorry that I cared the way I did. And I'm sorry that it it bothered you. You know, I'm sorry that it did that to you. But I don't feel like I was vindictively doing anything wrong. And if you feel that way, then I'm sorry you feel that way too. And I forgive you. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And I wish the best for you. I really do. I hope you can, feel better. So, yeah, I mean, this was, this is me expressing and, and that's that. Good day at work today. I'm a few away from where I need to be. I still have basically 4 days. Really 3 days. I got 3 days to try to sell at least 5 cars. That'd be awesome. That'd put me really close to where I want to be. It's above the normal goal, and I don't feel defeated anymore. And who knows? I may feel that later. But for right now, I'm a little bit better. And I'm still feeling shitty, but I think the more and more I talk about it, the more and more I don't give power to it. And the more and more I don't have to feel like it's got a hold of me. And, so I guess I can say it is what it is. I hate that fucking phrase, but this is it is what it is situation, isn't it? It is what it is. I can't fucking do shit about it. And, it's okay. I'm not going to change how I am. If I love somebody, I'm just going to continue to go through my journey, and hopefully one day that person, the right person, comes along and they want that. And doesn't make me less. I'm not going to shut my feelings out. It's just the person I am. So anyways, if you're watching this and you're like, what the fuck is going on, just keep, stay tuned, I guess. Look back. Posted 2 videos the night of and this morning that were fucked, and well, it's all gonna be good. It's all gonna be okay. Really, I'm gonna be okay. This is all gonna be okay. So I'll keep telling myself that until I truly feel that way. And I didn't act out in bad behaviors today. I didn't lash out at anybody today, and I feel a little more at peace, and that's okay. Then hopefully tomorrow's a little bit more. 1% more would be great. And then, after a few days, I'll feel, a lot better. And I'll have experienced a situation that I didn't think I'd ever be able to handle. But I think because of how I'm working my program and the things that I'm doing, I'm able to handle tough situations that are tough for me. And so, yeah.